Hello and welcome to this week's ACS golf review. Now, straight into it. The club I have today, which we are reviewing, is this, the PXG Hybrid. So in 19 degrees loft, let's get some light on that, the 0211, the 2021 model. So there is a new model out currently from 2022. However, it doesn't have the adjustability that this does. So thought I'd get this because the price of these are dropping now that the newer model's out. PXG is obviously a great brand personally, I think so. I tried their driver before last year's model, which was fantastic. And so it made me think, how about a hybrid? Now I've had the TaylorMade sim in the bag for ages and done a video on that, so do check that out. But I thought, hold on, how about a change? And this is what brought me to this PXG. So let's straight away, as with all reviews, let's have a closer look at the club. Then I'll get it down the driving range, and afterwards we'll talk some figures, and then we'll also talk about the ACS golf scale and the possibility with this one going in my bag this year. So yeah, let's have a closer look at the club. So there you go, closer look at the club. I do love this thing. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love just the simplicity of it with the black and that little sort of lighter grey on the top. And then I do enjoy the PXG logos there on the side. And then the X on the top as well. I do really like it. Just a generally good looking club. Now, one thing I will say about this club, obviously PXG, from brought out in 2021. Now, PXG is normally a very more upper market, I'd say, brand. I mean, they are bringing things down cheaper now, really, to get into the market, and you can always find normally like really good sale deals on their website as well for their new clubs. So do check that out. That's actually how I got the Gen 5 driver last year for you guys to try out for you guys, and it was in the bag for a while as well. Lovely club. So it's always worth to check. But these came out originally, the 0211 line, in basically a price bracket below, and it took the market by storm because PXG obviously have a lot of technology in their clubs. They really do pump it into the R&D. And then suddenly bringing these clubs out in the lower price bracket. I think the drivers over here in the UK were under £300, and they were really good drivers. And then this, for example, in the UK was retailing at £160, brand new, which was just really good price point for a hybrid at the time for 2021. In America, I found that it was sort of RRP $275. I'm not sure if that did stick or if that was just during the reviews, etc. So obviously it did come out cheaper. Do let me know in the comments. But yeah, really great price for it because with all PXG equipment, it's all premium stuff. So all the shafts are always premium. I mean, I've got the Tensai Mitsubishi Chemical here, stiff flex, premium shaft. The grips are always really nice as well with their own logo on it and with a standard lambkin. So lambkin grips always really premium. I will say the head cover for this is, even though, don't get me wrong, it's very nice. I love the letters there, and obviously 19, and inside it's still very soft. It's not as premium as their higher end stuff. The higher end of stuff's a little bit nicer, but again, it's really not a bad head cover. I've seen a lot worse on probably clubs a little bit more expensive. So there you go. Now at the end of the video I'll jump in the second hand price, but at the moment that's how much originally this thing cost. Now let's go straight into the technology about it. Firstly, you can adjust this by 1.5 degrees up or down. Currently 19 degrees for a 3 hybrid, so I could take it up to 20.5 degrees, or I could take it down to 17.5 degrees in this model, which I think is great. One thing for me, depending on when you're playing in the time of year, obviously when you're in winter, everything's a lot more boggier in the northern hemisphere. The ball, really, you want more flight on the ball and carry rather than it coming out low, because it's going to go further. If it comes out low, it's just going to get stuck in mud. While in the summer, coming out low is fine because it'll just keep on rolling, which is perfect. So it's great to have that option of, in the winter, loft it up, in the summer, possibly maybe loft it down. I mean, it does depend obviously on hazards. If you're trying to clear a lake with it, and you're lofting it down, maybe not the right idea, but there is options there which I think are great. And one thing I will say, it's not to close or open the club face, which I quite like. When you start fiddling around with that, especially as a sort of higher handicap or mid handicap such as myself, it can sort of make things a little bit complicated and everything can go slightly wrong. So I do like the adjustability is just literally up and down, which I think is great. Now, going into further technology, we have a hybrid crown construction on the top here, which is carbon fiber center and stainless steel perimeter, with the idea there that they can save the weight and then move that around the club face to basically give the characteristics that they want from the club, which I think is great. A lot of hybrids, you won't find carbon fiber on the top of the face, especially from like 2021. So I just think that's a really cool feature. It's really good that they've got that sort of hybrid crown construction. I think that's really cool to have that in something, again, at this price point that this came out at. It's great. Now, going to both the fairway woods and the hybrids, they're both constructed with AM355 body material, so that's around there, and an HT1770 face. So there you go. Now, both designs, the idea of being able to put the weight forward in the club head to promote low spin and increase ball speed. Again, lower ball speed, more distance, and that's the idea, so it doesn't go spinning up into space. And then finally, we basically have in here the railed sole. Now, there you go. Now, the idea of this, obviously, with a lot of railed soles, we've seen it before. We've seen them in, the old Nikes back in the day. You see them in Cobra. It's a big thing in Cobra still. I don't know, actually. Is the new Aerojet ones, hybrids, got them on the bottom? I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know, obviously, before that, the Rad Speed, etc. did, the old rails at the bottom. Comment down below if they do, the Aerojet, because I'm not too sure off the top of my head. Now, but yeah, with here, they do. And the idea, obviously, is to help interaction with the turf, to have the rails to help get through that turf. But with this as well, what they've done is not only does it, like I said, make it get easily through the turf, but by putting weight there, they've lowered the center of gravity, which increases MOI, but also strengthens the head to cut impact energy loss as well, improving sound and feel. So off-centered hits, the idea of that strengthens the whole face, and you get basically more ball speed across the face and higher forgiveness. Who doesn't want that? We all want that. The idea of going for a hybrid really is you struggle with your long irons and you want something a little bit more forgiving. There you go. So that's all the technology in the club. As I said, great looking thing. So now let's get down to Sandown. I was at the time. Let's check out the figures, and then afterwards we'll go through the HCS golf scale, and then we'll discuss if this is going to go in my bag. Am I finally going to knock out my tailor-made sim hybrid? So yeah, keep on watching to find that out. So let's jump straight into those figures. So on average, 184 yards carry, 218 yards total distance, 135 miles per hour ball speed, launch angle 10 degrees, and height 48 feet. Longest of the day being 186 total yards carried, 229 total yardage, 135 miles per hour ball speed, 10 degrees launch angle, and 39 feet high. Now, that's not actually the fastest ball speed. The fastest ball speed on the day was 140 miles per hour, so absolute rocket. The shortest actually was only a total carry of 205 yards, but ball speed of that was still 128 miles an hour, and it just came out really low. Launch angle 6, so a bit of a stinger. So overall, I was really happy with the performance of this club. For me, who really does close that club face when I swing, it really did manage to pop up in the air really nicely. We actually had a carry of around 200 yards, so really happy with that. And, very easy club to hit. Again, like I mentioned, the ball speed was really up there, 134 miles an hour. Exactly what I would want my hybrid to do. Perfect distance for me, over that 200 yards mark, so very happy. So there you go. So on average, 218 yards total distance. Really happy with that. Ball speed 134. Just can't complain, really. Just can't complain about my nose. So there you go. Now, total distance, sorry, 218 yards on average. Really can't complain with that. Ball speed 134 miles per hour. Again, really happy with it. And one thing I found as well was it was really easy to hit. For me, especially, I do struggle with sort of my 4 irons up. Off the tee, absolutely fine, but it's more off the fairways where I sort of struggle, and it's a bit of an uneven lie. Um, and I just found I could hit this really well, and there wasn't too many shots where I might, top it, which does happen every now and again. But I was really finding that I could really get it in the air, and I really did like the ball flight on it. Sometimes I have issues where I have way too much a spinny left shot, where I put way too much spin on it. It comes out because I've closed because of my swing and the fact I've closed the club face on impact. It comes out a low spinner to the left, more of a hook really than a draw. But with this, I was just finding I was getting up in the air. I was really happy with the ball flight with it, and yeah, I've actually had it on the course as well a few times, and I had it down at Silvermere, my local golf course, 2 weeks ago, and it, I hit it comfortably off the base, off the tee. So yeah, just very, very happy with its performance overall. And you know, the longest one I had on the day, ball speed wise, I managed to get up to 140 miles an hour ball speed when I really went for it, which is great. Didn't really get the numbers for that because I didn't get it in the air that well, but that's fantastic. I mean, I had a few others, 137, 138 miles per hour ball speed. I had one distance going up to 230 total distance. Had a few carries near the 200 carry mark as well. So really happy with the distance. Exactly what I want for that gap in my bag. Um, compared to my TaylorMade sim, the TaylorMade sim I'd say is longer, but that's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, I've hit the TaylorMade sim 250 yards once. I average my driver normally around 260. So hold on, if I'm going to green, I want something around the 200 to 220 sort of mark. I don't want anything above that. So even though it's not as long as my TaylorMade sim, with its consistency, for me it was working well. Now going down into basically the ACF golf scale. First off, again, distance 4 out of 5. As I mentioned, if this is the first time you've seen the ACS Gold Scale, by the way, basically 5 categories: distance, feel, looks, price, forgiveness. 5's the best, 1's the lowest. And the idea at the end of the year, I will do the best in each category that I reviewed for you guys. Now, so subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that, and also subscribe so you don't miss out more reviews every Sunday. Getting that in early this week. Get the subscriptions up. Come on, boys, subscribe, and ladies as well. Now, so let's get back to it. So distance, 4 out of 5. Like I said, it's not the longest. It's not as long as my TaylorMade sim, for example, but it's still good distance. It's definitely not the shortest. I mean, if you look around and read the reviews around this, I mean, all of them are saying, the idea of this is more sort of a playable one. It's a low spinning one where it's down at the front. So more of a sort of a player's hybrid. But the distance is so not necessarily you wouldn't get this necessarily for the distance, but the distance is very good. And I even read one of the articles where it was actually the longest one person actually tested for the year. So, if you get fitted for this, or your loft and you know what club you need, your shaft, etc., it can be a bit of a monster as well. So distance, 4 out of 5, very happy with that. Now, feel, obviously, is a hybrid. If you're not maybe necessarily feeling as nice as an iron or anything like that, but I'd say feel 3.5 out of 5. I was happy with the feel of it, happy with the sound of it as well, that sort of muted sound. If I did a bad shot, I maybe struggled a little bit just to know where exactly I hit it on the face, but I thought the feel was pretty decent. I was generally happy with it, so giving it a 3.5 out of 5, which is not a bad thing, believe me. Looks, already discussed the looks. 4 out of 5. I think it's gorgeous. I really do think it's a gorgeous club. I just love the look of it. That matte look is great. I'm never necessarily a fan of the time where, you look at it and it's got the sort of the gloss on it and you can't really see. So looks, yes, definitely happy with that. And then price. 4 out of 5 I've given this on the second-hand market. Now, getting into the price of this, if I just scroll down, Normally on eBay, you can pick this up between £80 to £100. So in American, that's $100, $125 roughly. And I think that's a really good price. Obviously, if you're going to the second-hand market, you know, like second golf clubs for cash, for example, or maybe Golf Bidder. I don't know if Golf Bidder actually do PXG off the top of my head. I don't think they do, but you know, other second-hand stores rather than eBay, then you're probably looking an extra sort of £10, maybe $20. But so the price hasn't, you know, for what it cost in 2021, it hasn't dropped that massively. But for, you know, on eBay, under £100, under $125, I don't think you can go wrong with it. With the adjustability that it has, the looks, the feel, you know, the distance, the control, you know, the control's very good with this as well, I would say. It's got everything premium about it, but not the premium price. I mean, roughly, if you're looking around the same period, 2021, the Sim 2, for example, you're looking at an extra 20 quid on the second-hand market, maybe even more. Because I did actually look at the Sim 2 Rescue, for example, not the Sim Max, but the Rescue, which sort of would be in the same sort of category with adjustability. So price point, as I mentioned, very good, happy with it, 4 out of 5. Now, so far, I haven't had an absolute mare with any of the prices, which is good because obviously I buy these things second-hand market a lot of the time to show you guys that they are good clubs to go and try with a decent price. So there you go. Now, forgiveness, solid 4 out of 5. I'd say I found it was forgiving. I mean, obviously you put a horrendous shot on it, it's not going to come out great, but then that is down to me, not the club. I mean, one of the worst shots I probably had, if I just get to that point, I mean, 128 miles per hour ball speed, but 205, and this is the launch actually, so it came out really low. So ignore that one. But if we go to the next one again, another one where I got 128 miles per hour ball speed. Now it's lower than 134 average, but it still went 217 yards. So I actually got it to go the 218. So even though the ball speed dropped, I still got just 1 yard under the average distance. So really happy with it. Thought it was forgiving. 4 out of 5. Yes, not the most forgiving, but when it comes down to, you know, having to wait at the front for this to be a lower spinner to get the distance out, obviously you do sacrifice some of that forgiveness at MOI. So, you know, if you want more distance, fortunately, a lot of the time you do sacrifice the forgiveness. So 4 out of 5, I mean, absolutely solid, very good, very happy. So there you go on my review of the PXG. You know, happy with the looks. Everything across the board was 4 out of 5, apart from the feel, was 3.5. So an absolute great option on the second-hand market if you're looking for a new hybrid, you know, or go and test the new O2 11s. You know, that's PXGs. Obviously, they're in the lower price bracket, but do remember the new ones, you don't have the weight there and you don't have the adjustability. So perhaps it's a better idea to, rather than go and buy a brand new one, go and check this out instead. So there you go. Now, remember, if you enjoyed this video, do give it a like. Do remember to subscribe to the channel for our weekly reviews every Sunday. You know, coming up, we've got Sim 2 Titanium there, which I picked up for a steal. So we've got that coming, and a few other clubs behind me as well. So do review. They could be out already, depending on when you watch this. But do subscribe to the channel. Give us a like as well if you enjoyed this video. And remember to obviously comment down below if you play PXG. You know, what have you played so far in my life? I've tried a driver from last year and tried this as well for 2021. And to be honest, every single club I've picked up so far, I've been very impressed with. Thing that I did forget to mention before I say goodbye to all of you then is, will this club go in my bag? Yes, it will. For me, the reason it's going in a bag is the adjustability. I mean, the looks of it as well, and the fact that it doesn't go as far as the Sim. A bit of a weird one, but you know, with the TaylorMade Sim, I just thought sometimes there was no point in me even having a fair word in because it was an absolute rocket ship. So yes, PXG is currently in the bag and I'm very much enjoying it. So there you go. Sorry I missed that out in the original sort of chunk of all the videos, but yeah, in the bag. I'm very happy about it. So there you go. Now, this time I will catch you next week because it's the end of the video. Okay, bye.